Good morning. I'm Nathan Rogers, and I'm a fourth grader here at Waterville Elementary School. I would like to welcome all of you to our school library. I love the library and I love to read, especially nonfiction books, because I like to learn about new and different things. Reading helps kids like me understand new words and ideas. I love books so much that I have several shelves filled with books under my bed. I can just reach down and grab a new book to read each night. I want to make sure every kid in New York knows how to read so they can love books as much as I do. I am excited to be here today and introduce my new friend, Governor Kathy Hochul. Please welcome me in joining Governor Hochul.
Nathan, well done, and you weren't nervous at all. Nathan and I just had a very intense conversation about how he's about 4'9", and he was fishing in North Carolina and caught some, what were they, sharks you caught? Yeah. He caught sharks that were 3 feet. So you want to hear the story about how brave Nathan is out there tackling the sharks at the Outer Banks. He has a great, maybe he'll write a book about that someday since he loves books so much. Well, I'm delighted to be here, and I want to thank everyone for joining us at this wonderful location, Waterville School. And, today we're going to turn the page on how we teach young people to read. And this is a long overdue opportunity to help young people have the best opportunities they can. And I want to thank so many people who have joined us here today. First of all, our students, thank you for joining us. Is it okay to be out of class for a few minutes here? You okay with that? Okay. If you think you need to be back, we're good, right? Stay here. Melinda Pearson, the head of NYSET. She's the head of all the teachers. So she is someone I've gotten to know very, very well. She's a fighter. She's a strong woman, and I want to give her a special round of applause. Melinda Pearson. We also have some of my partners in government. You've all seen the Capitol, right? You've gone past. You've seen the big dome and the Capitol building. We have Senator John Liu has joined us, Assemblymember John McDonald, Assemblymember Pat Fahey, Assemblymember Robert Carroll, Assemblymember Joanne Simon, and also those are all of our elected officials. Let's give a round of applause for our elected officials. Dr. Donald Stevens, the superintendent of Waterville City School District. Let's give him a round of applause. Janine Lance, who you're going to be hearing from, a fourth grade teacher here, which is wonderful. We'll be hearing from her in a couple minutes. And the mayor of this great community, Mayor Charles Pedicella, and I want to thank him for joining us as well. So we're here to talk about Nathan's favorite topic, which is reading. Do you all have books hidden under your bed like he does? No. Maybe. Okay. Well, here's what I was telling the students down the hall. I told them when I was in third grade, and I know you're fourth graders, when I was in third grade, I had this one favorite book. It was called The Story of Harriet Tubman. Who knows who Harriet Tubman is? That's very good. And it was a book I used to check out of the library all the time. I didn't own it. I checked it out so much, the librarian one day said, why don't you just keep it? And what I would do is late at night, when my parents said, turn the lights out, and it was dark in my room, I crept out of bed and I'd go grab that book. And I read it over and over and over because I could not get over how courageous she was. She was a young woman. She was tiny. She was shorter than most of you. And she was so bold that she went out and helped free slaves and brought them up to New York. And she eventually lived in New York. She lived in New York for 50 years. So someday you need to go to see the home of Harriet Tubman and be inspired by what she did, how she changed the world and saved people. I learned about her when I was in third grade. And that's one of my favorite stories. But I know Nathan loves to read, you love to read. I want to make sure that kids can make it's easy for children to learn how to read. And today I'm announcing a new initiative. We're going to be reforming how we teach reading and bringing our state's curriculum in line with the nation's accepted best practices. Now this builds on a lot of work we've done before. We believe in our teachers. We love our teachers. We invested in the Master Teacher Program, investing over $5.3 billion in our education programs, a huge increase. But there's still a problem called illiteracy. What that means is there's too many people who don't know how to read. And that's a real problem, isn't it? That's a real problem. If you don't know how to read, how you get along in life if you really can't read and understand things. So we're going to tackle this issue. And what I'm talking about is something in my State of the State address. If you've not seen it, it's real exciting. You're going to want to tune in and watch it live stream. Maybe we could live stream it from the school here to have me talk about all the great things that I'm going to work with our state legislature to accomplish for New Yorkers. So one part of that, and we talk about a lot of important issues, one part of it is we're going to be talking about how young people need to have a better chance. And if you can't read, people struggle in school. It's hard to find a good paying job someday. But if you can read, so many doors open for you, right? You can go to college, you can go get a skills, you can go work any place you want to work. But too many young people aren't succeeding. And here's the reason. Our teachers are great, they work hard. Our schools are great, we give them a lot of money to make sure that they have what they need. But also, what are they teaching? What is the curriculum? And well, not just math, we're talking about reading today. And so there's a problem because people are being taught a certain way for a long time. When I was younger, we used to learn about phonics. There's a basic way, it's called back to basics, how you learn to read. And what happened was they decided to change it. There was this idea about 20 years ago. They thought, hey, there's a whole different way of learning. Why don't we just put kids in a room with books and they'll figure it out? Do you think that's very smart? No. It's kind of what they're talking about. I mean, they de-emphasized phonics-based learning and they pushed students to learn by using contextual clues instead. I don't even know what that means. Do you know what contextual clues mean? No, let's teach us how to say the words. Let's teach the kids what they mean. And that's the difference. That has not been taught. Now, kids with learning disabilities and have English as a second language, they're really disadvantaged here. Teaching programs in colleges have focused on that program as well. So the teachers were taught, this is how you're supposed to do it, and they did. They were told, this is what works. And they carried out the duties they're supposed to do. But despite the best efforts, it's showing that it's not working anymore. It's not working. So study after study has emerged over the last few years showing it's not getting the job done. This outdated curriculum is still, even though we know it's not good, it is still the most common way they're teaching reading and literacy in our schools. It's the most widely used, it's called the Lucy Calkins balanced reading approach, and many experts have said it doesn't work. They've discredited it. So we're going to take an important step. One was that we signed a new law to improve how reading is taught to students with dyslexia. And I want to give a special shout out to Assemblymember Bobby Carroll and Senator Brad Hoylman, who are sponsored this bill. Let's give them a round of applause. They worked hard for this. But we have more work to do. Our job is not done. Third grade is a critical point. You just came through that. And I want to tell you that that's when people can make the difference. By third grade, if you're not reading good, it's hard to read better later. So it's bad if young people don't learn how to read at that age, and there's something that we need to be doing, and that's teaching with phonics. Direct instruction, guidance. It's not just science, it's common sense. It's like if anybody here play music instruments? Do you play musical instruments? Yeah. Well, if you're taking piano lessons, for example, you have to learn the basics first. You don't just go listen to some beautiful concert music from Beethoven and say, oh, I can go do that. You have to learn the fundamentals. You have to learn the basic. No one questions that. But we're going to make sure that our kids learn the basics. Other states are doing this. Connecticut's doing it. New Jersey's doing it. Even the city of New York's doing it. And as governor of the entire state of New York, I think every child should have the best shot in life, the best shot to learn how to read, best shot to become completely literate by the time they leave school, and make sure that our families deserve better as well. So that's what we're going to do. The first day of school is like a fresh start. We're going to have a fresh start. We're going to do things differently, and we really expect different outcomes. So when I do my State of the State next week, which I told you all about, we're going to talk about my Back to Basics initiative. It's a set of solutions to reset how our schools approach reading. We're setting a bold goal to transform how reading is taught in the state of New York. And we'll make sure that students receive what they learn. So we're going to be teaching phonics, decoding, vocabulary, and comprehension, just like the older adults in this room know all about. They skipped a long time. They missed an opportunity, and now we're going to get back to common sense basics. I also want to acknowledge that Commissioner Rosa of the State Education would love to be here. She is out of town right now, but she has her representatives here today. I give them a special shout out. And I want to thank all the teachers at this school who've been working so hard to do this. And that's why, to help our teachers, we're going to be investing $10 million in teacher training programs to make sure we can fund over 20,000 more teachers to learn how to do this. So that's what we're doing. It doesn't sound like a big deal maybe to you sitting in the front row, but it is. It is, okay? This is a very big deal because for a long time, people realized what was going on was not working, but nobody stood up and say it needs to change. And sometimes it takes a little bit of will and ambition and a bold idea for what our state can be, and that's what we're doing here today, saying we can do better, we will do better. And I'm going to set high goals for us to make sure that we achieve the highest, because this is New York, my friends. This is New York State. This is the greatest state in the nation. And I'm looking at a room full of young people that represent young people all over New York. You are the future of our state. And I want to make sure that you have the best tools and advantages of anybody so you can be as successful as you want to be. So that's what today is all about, changing how we're doing it. We're going to throw away the old method, say goodbye, it didn't work, and get back to basics and learning and make sure that you have a great chance to learn the easiest and best way you can. Again, I want to thank all the teachers involved here and representing them. Of course, as I mentioned, is Melinda Person, who has done a great job as the head of the teacher organization. Let's give her a round of applause and invite her up.
Is it good afternoon yet? No. Good morning. Hi, everybody. Hello, friends. I was an elementary school teacher, so these are my people right here. I'm excited to be here with the governor to share another step forward in New York's advances on behalf of our students and our schools and our educators. I want to again publicly thank the governor for the investments in foundation aid, which is the funding formula that sends money to schools like this. This past year, Waterville had over a 20% increase in foundation aid, and that money is making a difference already here in your schools. So thank you, Governor, for that, and for finally fulfilling the promise of the CFE case. Now, there is still more for us to do, and we've already started by exploring expanded graduation requirements here in the state of New York. We're also emphasizing experiential hands-on learning, like we were in Syracuse with the Micron investments a few weeks back. We are reimagining how our public schools can educate the whole child and how our schools can continue to be the centers of our communities. And in New York, we are not only meeting the moment, we are leading the change. So I want to thank the governor for this partnership and for the ability to be here for this announcement today. This announcement and the investment in professional learning for educators will provide our members, your teachers, with access to proven effective teaching methods, often called the science of reading. They address not more than what students are learning, how students are learning. And it gives our educators the tools that they will need to support all students. Now, this is a part of a national movement, like the governor mentioned, and it acknowledges not only the importance of literacy, but it also recognizes that teaching students to read is a complex task. It is not simple. And in the past 10 years, almost every state has implemented new policies with regard to reading and ensuring teachers have full access to the latest tools for this teaching. Now, these policies are not merely the result of the latest fad. I want to be really clear about this. This is the result of decades of research, brain science, information from tens of thousands of studies that is driving us toward this change in instructional practice. And every week I travel across the state and I speak to teachers, to educators in classrooms in all different types of areas of the state. And they talk to me with pride about how much they care about their students' ability to experience the pride and joy that comes with reading. Does anybody experience joy when they read? Maybe a Dog Man book or, yeah, I see it. Yeah. So our educators want that opportunity to bring that joy and that empowerment of literacy to all of New York's children. That is what we are all about. Seeing our students succeed is the thing that brings us the greatest joy. So I want to thank the governor for including us and acknowledging that too often our educators aren't provided with the tools they need to help students succeed. And she is here to help us fill that gap. So thank you so much. This program is extremely important. And it is my pleasure to introduce Jean Lance, a 32-year educator here in Waterville, a fourth grade teacher, and also notably runner-up as for Teacher of the Year for the last few years. And she has been making a difference for 32 years for her students, and now she's here to tell us some thoughts on this particular initiative. Jean.
Thank you, and good morning. And these are indeed my people right here. So I'm so excited to have my fourth graders here so they can hear all of this amazing news. We'd like to thank the governor for taking the time to visit our school and for sharing your Back to Basics reading plan with us. We are also equally excited to share the amazing work we do at Waterville City School District with each and every one of you. Learning to read is an empowering process. The words on a page can transform us. They can take us to another place and time. Those words inspire us, they educate us, and most importantly, they change our lives. A systemic approach to teaching reading enables our students to critically read, write, and think. It opens doors to new possibilities. The science of reading embraces such an approach. We transitioned to this approach a few years ago, and we are seeing in real time just how well our students are responding. As a teacher, I am always looking for new ways to help my students to thrive and grow. And with this announcement, I am excited and hopeful to see more schools adopt the evidence-based science of reading program because I have seen firsthand the progress my students have made. Garrison Keller once said, "A book is a gift you can open again and again." It is indeed one of my favorite quotes. We as teachers give our students that gift by teaching them how to read. But more importantly, our students give us back that gift tenfold because we know the work that we do to teach them to read empowers them to do great things in our society. Literacy is the bridge that connects us in so many ways. We are excited for these initiatives, and we support the science of reading. We are grateful for Governor Hochul's support of education, and we know that by working together, we can provide the children of the great state of New York endless opportunities to realize their full potential. Thank you for joining us today. It is so lovely to have everyone.
So great to see everybody. Thanks for coming out. I mean, this is important that we really just change the direction of our state when it comes to education. We are on the wrong path. We've been teaching our young people the wrong way for too long, and now it's time to just say, stop. We have to reverse course, go back to the basics, go back to phonics, and give this next generation of kids a better shot because this has been a failure. This experiment has been an absolute failure, in my opinion. Any questions?
On topics about education, Caitlin?
So is this going to be a mandate? How do you ensure that this is getting into all classrooms? Because if it's not a mandate, then it would be local control for it.
Here's how it works. I'm inserting this in my state of the state. It'll be in my budget. And when this is passed, and we've been talking to the legislators already, you saw the legislators in support of here, which is important to build the support behind this. It'll direct the SED to issue their own regulations, and the SED, State Education Department, we've already had conversations, they are willing to call for the best practices to ensure that schools are teaching the science of reading, which is what this is called. I call it Back to Basics, but it's the science of reading, which is being used so many other states. And we know that other states, particularly during the pandemic or after the pandemic, seeing that huge drop in literacy and educational loss, that they shifted to this. Our neighboring states, New York City is shifting to this. So I have to look out for the rest of the state and break open the inertia that has stopped this because there's not a lot of data on this, but what we know is that it seems that the majority of districts in New York are still teaching the old method. It takes money to reteach teachers. Okay, we have to make those investments, and school districts perhaps did not want to. I won't speak to why it didn't happen. All I know is I'm the governor now. I'm not satisfied with the outcomes, and this is a radical change, but it is one that actually makes sense because it's been proven. It was proven for every year up until 20 years ago when the new science called for something else, the balanced literacy. So it'll happen.
So would it be a requirement?
Schools follow SED regulations, yes.
What's the timeline for implementation that you want?
By 2025. give them some time to put together the regulations, and I want this to start in 2025. We've lost too many young people. And I have to tell you, the messages since the notification got out already is from a lot of teachers who are just saying, hooray, finally, it's happening. They have wanted this. There was just bureaucratic inertia for a long time, and change is hard in a place like New York. Believe me, I know this, but I don't mind standing up and saying the status quo is not good enough, it's not working, and we're going to go in a different direction. So by 2025, we'll start this. Teachers have to be re-educated, retaught. I also want to get back to the teaching colleges as well. Make sure you're not teaching this either. And I think a lot of them have already shifted, but that's something we need to make sure is happening, that all the teachers, new teachers, are being educated in the basics that we're going back to.
What are the age groups that you're hoping this will target? I mean, what kind of students are going to see the change?
This is the elementary school students. This is the grade you teach learning. This is when you're tested in your fourth grade assessments. But it has to start before then. It has to start, in the earliest levels. And really, throughout the book on what they've been doing before, it just didn't work. Great experiment, should have been ending years ago, now that we've seen that the results are so abysmal.
All right, we got time for about 2 more. Karen?
Off topic, there's been some grumbling in the legislature about some of the vetoes that you issued of bills very late in 2023. How would you describe your relationship with the legislature going forward? You've got your big speech next week, you've got your budget coming out. Is this going to be a hindrance?
No, this is my third year doing this. There's always speculation, like, oh my God, the relationship is not great. We're fine. I just had a great conversation with Speaker Heastie at his reception this morning, talk about what we're going to do. I'll be seeing Leader Stewart-Cousins at her reception shortly. And we stayed in touch all the off season. We stayed in touch throughout that time, talking about issues. So I think people like to, the culture here thrives on controversy, and getting along and working together isn't always going to make headlines. But there's a basic foundation of respect for the three leaders, to ourselves. And so we'll have differences of opinions, but it doesn't shake the fundamental level of respect we have for each other, which I think that is the sea change from the past. And that is a strong foundation. So, and vetoes at the end, that means that you've been working to try and chapter them at the end. I mean, this is what, a lot of this is talked about for months. They're here, I'm here, can we get to a middle place? And we don't get credit for the countless times that it does get us there. The bills I've signed, I mean, I don't know how many bills we've chaptered. I can get that for you, but it's a high number, and that takes enormous amount of staff time. You wouldn't believe the midnight calls I get to it. Will you go with this? So there's a lot of negotiation that goes on in the final weeks in December, and most of the time you can get to a middle ground, and if you can't, then there's a veto. And as I've said before, we can be really, really productive if we work together during the session, not have 500 bills passed in a week or less, just over a week. And then at that point, there's no opportunity for negotiation or conversation or understanding the impact that it might have on an agency that now has to staff up 50 more people to accomplish this, and you didn't budget any money. That's usually what happens. There's a lot of great ideas, but if they don't do it in the budget, there's not money behind it. That's really the genesis of most of the vetoes.
So you think that could be different this year?
Well, I know it can be different. I don't know that I can change, how the legislature wants to do things, but I have said that. Let's start the budget earlier. Let's start the bills earlier. Talk to us during the session. And then we can have bills that we've worked on together by the end of June, and then we can start signing them right away.
Great, one more.
Governor, in 2022, you ordered and hired a firm to study the pandemic policies, which included nursing home deaths. Do you have plans to release that report anytime soon?
I hope so. I'm frustrated. It turns out it would take a very long time for us to find a consulting firm that was not involved in advising my predecessor on the pandemic. So all the top consultant firms that you would normally go to, they're all excluded. So we went with another consultant. I'm very frustrated by the pace. I wanted this before, but absolutely it'll be released to the public when it's done. We're staying on top of it. We're pushing. And I'm told it's going to be, I won't even give a date, but we're told it shouldn't be too far off. But I keep asking all the time the same question.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.